Hello, hello. A lively discussion, a lively discussion. Hello, everybody. We are partying today. Yes, yes. We are talking about psychopaths. We're talking about psychopaths. We're talking about reptiles. We're talking about the idea of uh, uh, reptilian species. Is it really all the same thing? That's what I'd like to know. Great to see you all. It is I, Whimsy. I just woke up. I got to exercise my voice, get some water in me. Welcome to our Sunday brunch, everyone. Be sure and as you enter the virtual world, try and be kind to one another. Try and be gentle. Be sure and say hi. Tell us who you are and tell us what you eat and what you're drinking as we extend our brunch table to the four corners of the world. And I'm sorry, I do have allergies. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, my goodness. Ah, something feels very itchy over here. Oh, my goodness, I've got my filter going. Um, I have not had breakfast yet. Uh, I laid around and I just had some coffee. And as many of you know, I'm trying to cut my sugar consumption down to 25 grams or less. And so my coffee has 1 teaspoon of organic maple syrup and 1 teaspoon of monk fruit. And that's how I sweeten my coffee. And that's how I'm able to get a little bit of sugar in the morning. But my goal is to keep my hemoglobin A1C as low as possible. Hemoglobin A1C, of course, is a marker of your blood sugar over an approximate 3 month period. Yeah. Does anybody know why hemoglobin A1C is a 3 month period? What the reason for that is? Because hemoglobin, red blood cells usually live about 90 days or less. That's how long it takes for a red blood cell to die. And they're looking at fragments of red blood cells that could have died because glucose, too much sugar, can damage red blood cells. And so when they see a lot of fragments of hemoglobin A1C, that tells them that a lot of red blood cells have died because sugar causes them to burst. Yeah, the sugar draws water into the red blood cell, causing it to burst, and the fragments of those burst red blood cells from too much glucose is the hemoglobin A1C. And we replenish our blood approximately every 90 days. So if you were on a predominantly if say I put you on a diet and it's predominantly a Mediterranean diet where it's good carbohydrates, now they're telling me I can take back the thing on pasta if you have it with a protein. Egg noodles are best. You can, or when you have the authentic. With if you want to go vegan, just make sure it's al dente. But yeah, you can have some pasta fasulli, with some beans and lemon. That's a good thing, right? So yeah, if you're on a mostly Mediterranean diet with fish, you're going to be adding, 5-10 years to your lifespan on average. That's and give up smoking. That's a big one. Um, and sugar, right? If you're trying to get your glycemic index, added sugar down below 25 grams. So Means you can have a couple pieces of dark chocolate if you like, a couple teaspoons of maple syrup or honey in your coffee if you prefer honey. It's up to you, babe. It's up to you. Oops, that is not what I want to do. Okay, so welcome to La Show. We are all sharing. If you have a low hemoglobin, that would be a low red blood cell, and there's a couple of reasons why we have low red blood cell. One reason could be lack of iron in the diet. If you are not getting enough iron, so you may want to start supplementing with iron. The other could be poor digestion. You're getting adequate iron in your diet, but you're maldigesting and malabsorbing the iron. And that is sometimes related to celiac disease or too much gluten in the diet. So you may want, if you're getting adequate iron in your diet and you're still experiencing malabsorption, you may want to give up wheat and make sure you're taking iron, possibly as a liquid twice a day. Seems to be a good way to do it, and try not to have it. I think you want to have it with vitamin C is a good way to absorb it, if I'm not mistaken. The other reason your hemoglobin could be low is because as we age, our bone marrow's capacity to make blood declines. And that's just a natural process of aging. And this is why we will see certain types of chronic anemias in seniors. Because the bone marrow is no longer able to produce the same number of red blood cells, in our senior years than it did when we were younger. So, but we want to make sure we are maximizing nutrition. Nettle tea. Nettle is considered, and some of the chlorophyll has been thought to be stimulating in terms of natural products. Nettle, curry leaves. There's an interesting liquid product by Gaia Herbs. That's a vegan iron supplement from the curry leaves. Spicy orange curry leaf. It's quite delicious, actually. And I would do, if you were anemic, I would refrain from the gluten, and I would, do the liquid iron and go on a nutrient-dense diet. All right, so we're talking about psychopaths. Are politicians psychopaths? Are psychopaths reptilians? Well, I would say, that being the great debate, I would say in a way, yes. I would say yes. I would say that in a way you could argue that reptilians are psychopaths. If you're just talking literally, in the sense that as we evolve over time, as life evolved over time, you had an evolution of what is now the human brain. So the human brain actually has three parts. The first part is the snake brain, also known as the reptilian complex. And this is the part of the brain that evolves from the snake, the reptiles, the first land mammals, right? Reptiles, right? Reptilians. And then that center area of the brain that you see with the little dot in the center, that is the limbic system. So let's go ahead and just do some brain imaging. Oh, brain locations. Locations on the brain. Let's do that. Locations on the brain. Maybe that would be a good place for us to start. Okay, so locations on the brain. We can see when we look in that back area here, you see that pons area that I'm pointing to? I don't know if I can link onto that. But what you're looking at is the first part of the snake brain. And then above that is the cerebellum, that cauliflower looking thing hanging on top of it. That's going to help with balance. But pons is also involved in the deep sleep states in the brain. Pretty cool, huh? So that is the area of the brain that is more active in psychopaths, right? So when you go further up into that center area, the corpus callosum shielding it, which separates the two hemispheres. This is going to be where you find the thalamus, the hypothalamus. Those are glands, right? This is what we call the rabbit brain. So when we talk about three distinct parts of the human brain, what we're saying is that we are three beings in one. That we are not one person, but rather we are three people with three distinct brains that are trying to work out a problem. So the first part of the brain is the reptile, and it's fear, fight or flight, fight or flight. That brown area that you see at the bottom there is the first most primitive evolved brain that we see in the snake. And that is fight or flight. In a snake, to retract is the flight. So if you're threatening a snake and the snake comes back and retracts the spine, that is flight. And then strike. Flight, strike, flight, strike, right? So what you see again in psychopaths is you see this area of the brain being quite active. This back area of the brain that, oops, that's me. That's not what you need to see. I'm trying to get you back to where you were. So we could see that brain again. So they're operating with that fight or flight. And then we have the evolution into the early mammals. The early mammals are the rabbits. And they evolve fur and warm-blooded, right? So we think about a small little shrew creature shows up. It's a live birth, no longer a shell. And has fur that has evolved from scales. So the scales are gone, but now it's been replaced by fur and a warm-blooded animal, right? Mother lactates or expresses milk. And what we find is the evolution of love. This need to love something and nurture something. You're no longer a reptile. You have to stay and you have to love and you have to nurture something. And that's the rabbit brain. That center area, that thalamus, that hypothalamus area. And then in the front area, that pink area that says frontal lobe, and that is everything above the precentral gyrus, is the new brain, and that's the human brain. And this is the area that is the least activated in psychopaths. And the frontal lobe area is the area that is the executive branch of the brain. It is the last to evolve, and it's that higher self that people say is the voice of God. But other scientists would say, no, that's the third brain talking to you. That is your human brain talking to your animal brain. Now, there's an animal brain, which is in the limbic system, that wants to just lie in bed and cuddle, right? Make babies and be a rabbit, right? And then all of us also have a reptilian brain that wants to survive. It's going to do everything in its power. A natural, healthy will to live, to survive, to compete, to eat, to consume, to flight or fight, right? So that is basically the evolution of the brain. And so what we're going to do now is take a look at some of the brains of psychopaths. And not surprising, we start to see some interesting activity inside psychopaths. We have normal and we have abnormal. We can see most of the energy in the psychopath is in the back area, not the frontal cortex. That ability to reason and think before you act. Least amount of activity would be blue, right? So what's interesting is that the psychopath concentrates their energy into getting what they want. And what they want is power. They want power. So say I were to tell you a magical story and tell you that this was just a made-up story and nobody should take it too seriously. But say, for example, you were a certain somebody who wanted to be king of the world. Say you were somebody who wanted to be king of the world. And you kind of feel bad about some of the things that you have to do in order to be the king, right? In this theoretical, right? So you might go into politics, right? And then you would have to make deals with the devil, right? You would have to get certain super PACs to fund your campaign. So you would have to promise your soul to the dairy industry, promise your soul to the pharmaceutical industry, to the foreign lobbies, right? China is the largest foreign lobby in DC right now. Russia is a lobby, right? So what starts to happen is that the politician becomes bought before they even run for office. They're bought by foreign governments, these hidden bank accounts, things that came out with the Pandora Papers. It's something to really think about. So somebody like that, for example, might start a crypto scam. And how this crypto scam would work is that you would pump a particular coin, right? You might have the equivalent of crypto sweatshops. And you would use your power and fame as a rising politician or a man of power or whoever to push people to buy this crappy coin, right? Because you know that this is the coin you need to go to, right? So everybody pumps into that coin and then you pull the lever and sell and buy Bitcoin. So you start gaining more and more and more power because you're running this shorting scheme, insider trading with crappy coins, and then converting them to Bitcoin. And so the next thing you know, this particular individual has the largest amount of Bitcoin in the world and then collapses other coins. And then who is king of the world? Theoretically. Strictly for entertainment purposes only. So when you see scams where this person is faking the fame of a particular politician, who's to say the politician or famous person isn't in on it? Say you have a politician whose name is Joe Blow. And Joe Blow has a cult following. You create a sweatshop of crypto selling people, and they put fake accounts up saying, I'm Joe Blow. I'm Joe Blow. I'm Joe Blow. So all these people who have crushes on Joe Blow or dream of being Joe Blow start connecting with these fake accounts. What are the fake accounts doing? They're crypto sweatshops, right? Conning people who have a crush on this person to buy this crypto, then shorting it. And then the king who's running the entire operation is really that person. In plain words, the fake accounts are being run by him via these sweatshops, these crypto shops. So what happens? Excuse me. He keeps pumping different coins. That's how you centralize power, particularly if you start weakening the euro, weakening the US dollar, and everybody starts pumping it into Bitcoin. Then which coin has more power? Bitcoin, right? So who owns the money? The billionaire that ran the pump and dump scam, who now owns the majority of the coin. He can't have all the coin, then it would have no value. He just has to have the majority of the coin in order to control the value. That would be an example of being a psychopath. So when we think about this imagery that we see, they want power. That's my point. A person that would engage in that kind of activity engages in that kind of activity because they want power. The other thing we see with psychopaths is that their temporal lobe activity can sometimes be activated. That's this red area up on top here, right next to the ear on the side. This area, the left temporal lobe specifically, when lesions are found in the left temporal lobe, people are often violent. This is a case of a neuroscientist that discovered that he was a psychopath. He's doing research on psychopaths. He had run his own scan. He didn't think about it. He was just looking through imaging. He looked at one guy and said, God, that guy's really screwed up. And then he found out it was himself. So then he wrote, basically a book about being a psychopath. Excuse me. All right. So then the whole question that you have to ask yourself is, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Is the soul of is the soul of that psychopath different than, say, other people? And I think that uh, that's really the conversation. So, say for example, you believe in this whole idea that we are related to higher beings or different beings. Like some people believe they're related to the Palladians or this group or that group. But if such a concept exists, then are there lineages of people that are, if that's your nature, I guess that's the conversation, depending on what you believe in. If it's your nature to believe that, if they are reptilian before they have a physical body, does their brain then begin to represent the fact that their soul is reptilian? I guess that's my question. If, say, somebody is a reptilian, if that's their alien, if that's their lineage, um, when they enter the body, their brain will begin to look like that of a reptilian. That would be how somebody that views the world in that way, like different lineages, might think that. All right. So we're going to bring in the empath's prayer. If you'd like to receive a healing at this time, go ahead and give us your name and the name of the people you would like us to pray for as we bring in the empath's prayer. And then we're going to give the collective reading. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I got a froggy in my throat. Oh, my goodness. God, I got so much dust over here. Okay. Something's dusting. I don't know. I'm wondering if there's just dust over here. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively as a community, we say Amen. For those people who are requesting healings today, we come together at this time and we pray. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And together again, collectively as a community, we say, Amen, Amen, Amen. May all souls be healed. All right, so this collective reading applies to you at the time you receive it. Take from it what you will. That which doesn't apply to you is like a smorgasbord. Pass it down to the next person. It is the message that we are all supposed to be receiving at this time. It's good to be here. All right, where we are at right now, they say many of you may feel directionless right now. I know that I'm going through some feelings of being directionless. I know what I'm receiving in the meditations and what I'm supposed to be saying to all of you, and that is that we can't be saved by Washington, D.C. We have to get back to the garden and begin to build community, get off the AI, and start having human connections again, start creating better um, one-on-one relationships, start building more community housing, and start taking care of each other. And then we needn't fear for anything. We will have enough. We will have enough food. We will have a warm bed because we will be giving everything to build that community. And in return, that community will care for us. And it will collapse the psychopaths because the collective unity of the people will weaken the psychopathy and make the cults weaker. And the reason why the cults will become weaker is because the needs of the people will be met and the priority will go back to the people for the people. And that's very empowering. We are no longer seeing ourselves as helpless to the psychopaths of the world, but we're taking control of our own communities. And we are still voting and we're actively engaged in activism, but we understand our priorities to our communities. Right now, we have a Seven of Cups. So there's a genuine feeling amongst many of us that we just don't know what to do. We just don't know where to go. Um, don't be afraid to ask help from the experts. If you are seeking help and you don't have guidance, maybe it's time. You got counseling, that's cool. Or sought mentors in areas you wish to pursue and start researching the things you want to do. But understand that the help is there if you need it, if you are lost and confused, and you will receive the assistance you need, the Two of Cups, in the areas that you desire assistance. Coming out of a state of confusion, your karma is assistance, help, love, and healing. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Where you're at right now, many of you are grieving that which you have already lost. I sometimes struggle with this too, where we're supposed to be letting things of the past go, but we are so deeply hurt. We feel so deeply betrayed, and we beat ourselves up. Oh, why didn't I know better? Well, I should have been, I could have been, I would have been, right? And that can keep us trapped for many, many years. And it takes a long time to heal. And it takes a long time to get over deep, deep loss. And the crossing card is a kind of new excitement about new projects coming in. We have this lovely page of wands associated with Archangel Uriel coming into the crossing card. His time is like that go west young man. He's the pioneer. He's going to go on that journey and he's going to find that new road. Up, dust off your pants. You've mourned enough. I have come to take you to the promised land. Now, come along now. That is kind of how you have to look at Uriel. He brushes that up. Get yourself up from the dirt. It's time. He comes to you at this time to tell you it is time to, the caravan is leaving. The wagon train is leaving. You can sit and mourn and weep in the dirt, or you can join the wagon train because time's a wasting. Time is marching forward, my dears. So it is time to pick yourself up. That is the message that it's important that you hear at this time. You know what you don't want. Okay, I'll get up and I'll join that wagon train, but I'm not going to eat any more chitlins, right? So it's like you got your standards, right? So there is this kind of bargaining that's happening between what you are. You will get up off that ground, right? It's interesting. The Four of Cups, that I saw this image of us just like wailing in the dust. Oh, the child is in the dust. Oh. and being told we have to get up now, rise up and do this thing and live and get on with our lives. And this stubbornness, like we want to stay down there and not take the offer when it's given to us to get up and start living again and join Uriel on a new path, a new adventure. And what you're sitting in is a desire to move, a desire to get going. Uh, I always tell people, those of you who are joining our mystery school, if you're at the elders and empaths level, we meet every Wednesday and we are dedicated to healing ourselves as empaths and healers. And so that's what we're focusing on in mystery school right now. So if you want to travel, if you want to go see the world, if you want to do all those things, that's great. But you're sitting in the Knight of Wands, the Knight of Wands. So that is, there's a part of you that does want to go and try new things. By going through a rough time in your life, it's also been a time of you really doing some hard look at things. Your past placement is the Emperor, so you may have spent time just thinking about your life, right? Thinking about, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can show this to you guys. But yeah, I think I'd like to see if I can get you guys to see an image of this. But yeah, I would say with an Emperor in the past placement that a lot of people benefited from whatever the challenge was. Whatever the challenge was that you were going through that caused you to grieve and caused you to feel as if you were struggling in ways that in a way they're saying it was kind of grounding for you in the sense that what is going on here? Oops. Huh. Trying to get into the studio here. Why does it keep doing that? Excuse me. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I was going to go on, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Okay. I just wanted to see if I could get you guys a double thing. All right. So coming out of logic, a time of logic, and a feeling of just this deep betrayal. So forced you to take up, maybe you learned the hard way that not every relationship works, that not every expectation works out. And it's up to you. There's no judgment. If you decide you're done and you don't want to do anything and you just want to stay in bed all day, you don't want to take on any new projects, it's entirely up to you. But if you're ready to move on spiritually, think about doing so. New projects, new opportunities, possibly new homes, people buying new homes, fixing up homes. There's a lot going on in the place of establishing a home. Three of Pentacles is associated with real estate, buying and selling, fixing up. Good stars. Excuse me. Over issues regarding real estate. Possible new relationships for some of you, romantic interest, possibly. I'm seeing some of you finding love again. You do have romantic suitors in the future for those of you who are seeking it. And for those of you who are looking to buy a new home or find the home of your dream, it's right over you. House of opposition at this time, fear and this being stuck is the worst thing. Learned helplessness, waiting for someone else to save you. These are the worst things you could be doing right now. You will be successful if you give yourself grace and patience and work hard. Um, do not give up. You cannot give up your work. Request denied. That is what Spirit is saying. So, say, for example, you say to yourself, I don't want to do this karma anymore. I don't want to do this life anymore. I'm just going to lie down in the dirt and give up and come back home to Jesus. Like, say that's what's rolling around in your head. The response from Spirit is, your request has been denied. You will stay and you will do the work. Inability to flee. Seven of Swords. Inability to run or steal away from. Just got to hunker down, find your meaning, find your bliss. Sometimes it's to find joy in this life. So, what is the purpose of life? Right? So, let's look at it. Let's look at it from the perspective of Kabbalah, right? Jewish mysticism. You're given a skin of leather, right? We were light beings, and then we got into this world, which is a dense world. This world is a dense world, right? So, if you love this sort of thing, we recommend 13 Petaled Rose. And that is by Adine Stein Saltz. We will go ahead and we will give a link to that. And we had started talking about this concept earlier, that this world is a world that has been made very, very dense. That most worlds are not physical in nature, but rather exist in a different place, a different nature. Here is the book that we are linking if you'd like to know more about Kabbalah, the 13 Petaled Rose Discourse on the Essence of Jewish Existence and Belief. Worlds. Here is what we're referring to. As soon as we can find it. Oh my goodness, it's so much. The physical world in which we live, the objectively observed universe around us, is only a part of an inconceivably vast system of worlds. Most of these worlds are spiritual in their essence. They are of a different order from our known world, which does not necessarily mean that they exist somewhere else, but means rather that they exist in a different dimensions of being. What is more, the various worlds interpret and interact in such a way that they can be considered counterparts of one another, each reflecting or projecting itself on the one below or above it, with all the modifications, changes, and even distortions that are the result of such interactions. It is the sum of this infinitely complex exchange of influence back and forth amongst the different domains that comprises the specific worlds of reality we experience in our everyday life. And so the idea in Buddhism and also the idea in Judaism is that we are light beings who have become beings of the earth. In the Buddhist tradition, we're called bodhisattvas of the earth. We have come to the earth to raise the vibration of the earth. So we are on a mission and we have put on spacesuits. We are aliens, and we are aliens that have been brought here to this dimension. We come from another place, a place of light. We are light beings. And these light beings have chosen the bodhisattvas of the earth to take on these spacesuits, these skins of leather, the human condition, in order to help in the evolution of this material world, so that the material world becomes heaven on earth. And engage in that perfection, to do work in this world and to elevate the vibration of this world by being a part of the world, by being educated, and by serving the world. So that means, number one, our number one obligation is self-love, right? That you love yourself, that you are gentle with yourself, and that you give yourself an account and reckoning every day. I give myself an account and a reckoning for what I put in my body. I give myself an account and a reckoning for how I treat myself. This idea of unconditional self-love is the foundation of the Buddhist practice, but also it is the foundation of Jewish mysticism. What is hateful to you, do not do unto another. Love thy neighbor as thyself. So how one loves themselves is often how they will treat their neighbor, or sometimes they'll treat their neighbor better than they take care of themselves. And at that point, you fall into traps like suicidal empathy, where the other person has more rights than you do. And that is a violation of this idea of self-love and self-care, which is complicated and difficult and requires a tremendous amount of work and consistency. It isn't enough to say, I love myself, I think I'm a really great person, and then you go off to engage in activities that are a violation of the natural order. Does that make sense? And so we have a self-care checklist, right? Because maybe for whatever reason, we didn't learn how to take care of each other, or we didn't learn how to do the things we were supposed to be doing. For some reason, I can't find my checklist. Oh, well. So that is why we've talked to people about keeping a diary and gently examining and giving yourself an account and reckoning for how you treat yourself. So I do have it written down in the private salon, so we can just go to that. But this is what we mean when we talk about the purpose of your existence is to spread more love. And it starts with taking a look at yourself. That daily accounting and reckoning of always calling yourself out, right? Calling yourself out if you fail in some way to fulfill your obligations to yourself. Did you get a decent night's sleep? Did you meditate? Did you wash yourself? Did you give yourself a nice dry brush? Did you moisturize your skin? Did you brush your hair? Put on a little makeup maybe? Did you check your nails? Did you check your toenails? Did you brush your teeth? Did you floss? Did you avoid recreational drugs and alcohol in excess? You know, a little wine, smoking weed at a party, or, you know, on Christmas, you know, live your life. But we're talking about addictions. Took time to iron and take care of your clothing, wash your clothes, eat at least a minimum of 2 good meals a day. You know, we always tell people to have a green smoothie every day. Take your supplements. It'll help. Yes, it will help. Data shows it does help. Go with a good company. Thorn Research or Pure Encapsulations, in the bioactive forms. Um, Make sure you're getting adequate water. Don't eat at night prior to bed. Have an exercise program. Avoid negative talk. Be on time with your medical checkups. Make sure you've had a recent mammogram, prostate exam, colonoscopy. Have your labs for your hemoglobin A1C, your CMP, your CBC, your APOB. Let's find out what's going on with your cardiac health, your blood pressure. You should be testing it on a regular basis along with heart rate, and you should know your BMI, uh, uh, your basal metabolic, right? Is that right? Know what your if you're overweight, right? So your BMI should be under 25, right? Your body mass index. And so you would just put in your height and your weight. So check your BMI on a regular basis. If you've got a lot of muscle, then I don't worry about a BMI on somebody. Males can go past 25. Watch your sodium intake on your diet. Second category we talk to people about is home finance. Get control of your money. It's an expression of your energy. Keep your home tidy. Give yourself an account and a reckoning on your finances. Work to be debt-free and to pay off all your debts. It's good karma. Even if you have to dig somebody up from 40 years ago, I borrowed $10 from you, right? If you can do it, take care of it. It's good karma. Save for a rainy day. Live frugally, right? Don't overspend. I got to work on that. That's why I call my other channel Broke Aristocrats, because I love to live like an aristocrat. And for me, it's a challenge. If I want something, I just buy it. And I have a hard time saying no, right, to things. Yeah, so get rid of clutter. Keep your home clean. So you can tell when you go through a list, like an account and reckoning list, that being human takes a tremendous amount of time for self-care. And that doesn't leave a lot of time for us to be running around talking about what somebody else should do with their life, right? Your third category has to do with your responsibility to the world. So, and that is tikkun olam in Hebrew. Tikkun olam. So remember we talked about this idea that the purpose of the world is to make it heaven. So not to make it hell, but to leave it better than you found it. So that would be tikkun olam, or the fixing of the world. So in what way can we do that? In what way can we do that is category 3, and that is skill and mastery. So you're going to find something that you are dedicated to mastering. You may want to try and master 2 things or 3 things, but you're only obligated to master one thing. Say that one thing is going to be the violin, or say that one thing is to be the best naturopathic doctor I can be, right? That is really my main karma. My main karma is that I am a remote viewer. I use a technique which is called heart-centered remote viewing. I train people. I try to be ethical. I'm a medical intuitive and a naturopath. So that's kind of like my main service work that I am obligated to master. But I also would love to master the violin, right? So that is the idea that I have chosen something to master in this lifetime for the service of humanity. So you want to also include in that continued education, that you are constantly studying. Make sure you have social connections, reach out to others. Understand your social responsibilities, whether it's running for politics, local politics, or getting involved with local activities that are going to serve your local community. Live by the golden rule, give service to the community, have relationships based on integrity, be the person that you would want to marry. You know, avoid suicidal empathy. Do not put yourself last, right? Avoid suicidal empathy. And then, of course, you can check on yourself and grade yourself on all these things over a 1 week period. I check in every couple of days. You know, sometimes I have cravings that are off my diet, and when that happens, then it's a problem. Oh God, red meat. Like sometimes I'll crave like spaghetti bolognese. So we can go ahead and blitz away if there's anything going on in the world you want me to take a look at, political or personal or anything like that. We'll take a couple minutes to blitz a bit away. But that's kind of my take on psychopathy, is that even if they aren't really reptilians, they certainly have brains. They are certainly using their brains in ways where they're putting a lot of concentration into feeling good, like hedonism, control, fight or flight, and controlling others. Like the theoretical person that is trying to amass all the Bitcoin and take over the world and be king of the world, right? Shorting crypto, amassing the majority of Bitcoin, right? So that would be an example of a psychopath, right? He feels bad about all the people who he's manipulating and defrauding, but not enough to stop. Right? Yeah, it's kind of sad. Oh, well, off to the next victim. I mean, people that have invested in crypto and they've lost everything, you know? All right, Donna Luna, pray for my mom Elaine. She's in the hospital, but she's going to be transferred to a rehab, and after that, a skilled living center. My prayers is for her. Oh yeah, yeah, we definitely will send prayers to her. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, suicidal empathy is when we lay down our life for others, and that's a violation of the law. You're really not allowed to do that. Yeah, carry yourself like you respect yourself. I try to put on makeup. I put on a little makeup today. I'm putting in a little effort. Trimmed my nails. You can see that. Yes, you got to practice these things. Yeah, no dirt under the nails. Check yourself. Um, I did not floss today. I brushed my teeth, but I did not floss. See, I lost a point there. Does our body crave things when we want to eat things? My mom used to eat this and that and then say that wasn't what I wanted. Craving things. I think my iron dipped a little low. I think that that's why I went through that thing where I'm like, I want chicken liver. So I went and bought chicken liver and I cooked half a thing of chicken liver and ate that over a 2-day period. Oh my God, did I load up on the cholesterol? So it's not something I'm going to do every single day because, come on, man, that's a lot of cholesterol. But I listened to my body. And so, and then I had some pho with red meat in it. So I think what was happening to me is that my protein and my iron had dipped. And I think that's what was going on. Yeah. Whimsy is my name. Hi. Could you look into my mom, Elaine? She's recovering in the hospital right now from bad case of flu. She has asthma, COPD, her high hernia. So when she eats the food is I've seen that a lot, and that can do with that's why we want you to make sure that you're working on strengthening your core, because if you do core exercises, it's going to prevent that help prevent that. It's not 100% guaranteed, but it will strengthen your abdominal muscles, making you less likely to be vulnerable to a hiatal hernia. All right. Your mom, Elaine. Build her immune system. Once the doctors say it's okay to do so, I would be working on her immune system. Make sure she's out in the sun, keeping her vitamin D up. Make sure she's getting good, solid nutrition. She's improved by being out in the world. So being outside will dramatically improve her health. Don't keep her indoors. So that, and get some sun. Make fish oil is good for getting inflammation down, in addition to the other things, of course, her primary care. But adjunct therapy that we think about is be careful about inflammatory foods, move towards a more anti-inflammatory, pescatarian-rich diet, and with lots of bioflavonoids and good nutrition. Green tea every day is also helpful. And core exercises to strengthen the abdominal wall. And Coleman, my psychologist says that I'm really running on my emotional side of my brain. I will allow my caring for others put before myself. Yeah, that's why it's perfect for you to. Are you in our mystery school, Anne? Are you an elder? You may want to join mystery school because we are accountability partners in mystery school. We're all in this together to try and be our best self so that we can go out and do good work in the world. And so, you might want to join the group if you haven't already. Wednesdays at 5 p.m. All right. Can't tell if I'm being called to compassion or speaking up against injustice. Well, that is pretty compassionate if you are speaking up against injustice. Should I pursue further action against lies spoken in family court? Well, depends on how strong you feel about it. Well, you're very upset about it. I can see that. 5 of Cups is to be grieving, wanting the truth to come out. And so Archangel Michael is the truth, and spying, hopes and fears. It could be there was a fight. You took a financial hit, uncover the truth. So you are the person who wishes to uncover the truth. Archangel Michael is with you, and the High Priestess uncovers the truth. For you, more than anything, it is a desire to uncover that which is hidden. So for that reason, because you feel so strongly about it, you may probably pursue it. Yes, I would go towards pursuing it. Mm-hmm. I looked like a lunatic when I confronted my in-laws. They all thought I was crazy. But, I had to speak my truth, and I kept speaking my truth over and over and over again for 12 years. And if they think I'm crazy, so be it. But at least I kept fighting for what I know to be true. Right? I didn't get my money back. I didn't get anything back. And they have, there are people that have to live with what they've done, right? So but you keep fighting and you keep sticking up for yourself. All right. Donna Luna, Mama tell me all you need is a little lipstick and you can put your lipstick on your cheek and sometimes you're gonna put it in on your eyes. Yep, that's right. Yeah, a little lipstick. Never hurt anybody. Tamara, I'm so glad I caught Whimsy. I love you so much. Ah, love you right back. We follow you. Oh, you're the best. Oh, thank you, Tamara Terra Music. That's very kind of you. Praying for Nick. Oh, you keep missing school? Okay, Wednesday, 5 p.m. PDT. Other person didn't pay child support, and I'm a minor when they were an adult and met me. Yeah, so go after them. They're saying uncover the truth and expose them over and over again if necessary. You might not get what you want, but you'll have your dignity. Does my nephew who passed away have a message for me? This is from Debbie. We're going to do one more and then we'll finish. Debbie's nephew. Message from Debbie's nephew. Oh, was he going through a really rough time before he passed? He was in a very bad place before he passed. There's a nice Ace of Pentacles. Hopes and fears. I just feel that this is somebody who was going through a difficult time prior to his passing and kind of explaining that he was worried about a lot of things at the time he passed. And that he's in a better place. But this is somebody who wanted you to know that he was in a difficult place and now he's in a better place. Yeah. All right, so that's it. We've been here for over an hour. We're going to go ahead and call it a day. If you're trying to get in for a reading with me, you can find that information below. Book me through Booksy. All right, we are out of here. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless. Peace out. We'll see you next time. Ciao, Bella. Bye.